put a finger down, if you were supposed to be on a 7:35 a.m. flight out of LAX to Atlanta, Georgia, and then from that flight you had an international connection because you're going to Belgium for the F1 race, and then boarding was delayed, but they said there was just a small issue going on and they were going to get boarding in the next 5 to 10 minutes, but then that kept going on and on and on. And then they say, you know what, it is time to board. And then you start walking down the little gangplank that you walk down to get to the plane, but then at the front they just stopped everybody, and so then you and a whole bunch of other people were trapped on the gangplank where there's no kind of air or anything else. And then you wait there for about 15 minutes while a Delta employee just goes back and forth, and nobody really gets any answers. And someone says, what is the situation? And then that Delta employee just, keeps walking. And then they say, you know what, we can't board this plane actually. Everybody's got to walk back out the gangplank. And so like reverse pirates, you and a whole bunch of other tired travelers actually walk back into the lobby of the airplane. I don't think it's called a lobby, but it feels like a lobby, you know what I mean? And then while you're waiting in the little lobby of the airport, nobody tells you what's going on, but you overhear something that a gate agent says, and then you think that can't possibly be the truth. And then the pilot actually comes off of the plane, gets on the loudspeaker, which keeps disconnecting because he keeps pulling it too hard. And then the pilot finally says, when things are going wrong, you want to hear from the guy who knows what's going on. And that guy is me, so I'm here to tell you what happened. And then it turns out that what you heard was true, but not even the worst of it. Because the pilot says that the plane that you're supposed to be getting on, yeah, it actually came into LAX last night and it's just been sitting there waiting for you. Except when the pilot and the crew got on the plane earlier and they started trying to get things together, they noticed a weird smell. And then as the pilot said, they knew the smell was vomit. Then you find out that when that plane came in last night, someone had vomited across seats 1A and 1B. And instead of doing anything about it, because that's gross and bad, everybody thought, why don't we just go home and let the people in the morning deal with it? And so then that vomit bakes into the plane for 12 straight hours. But don't worry, because the cleaning crew, they've been on it. And apparently they are making zero progress because it is in fact pretty gnarly down there. But then the captain explains that of course, because it's recycled air, if they can't clean it, the vomit smell is just gonna keep getting sucked out of the carpet and recycled back into the cycled air of the plane. And that this is an issue that they deal with a lot, but what they don't deal with is that the crew before you actually just thought, we'll just leave it. We'll leave it for 12 hours and see what happens. So then the pilot says, we're gonna get on this and we'll keep you updated. But nobody decides to keep anybody updated, and you just sit there wondering, will they be able to clean this vomit out in time for me to make my connection? So you agree to wait because they say, oh, it's just gonna be a couple of minutes. Long story long, you end up having to fly standby on a flight that has 2 cats, which you are deathly allergic to, and a gate agent makes you cry because when you tell them that you need to make sure you get on this flight and that the other gate agent didn't tell you that you were going to be standby without a guaranteed seat on this flight to make your connection, she tells you you're already confirmed on another flight, and when you tell her that's the flight where they're not taking off because it's covered in vomit, she looks at you and says, I don't believe that. Yeah, normally I do a travel vlog for you guys when I'm heading to an F1 race, but this is gonna have to suffice because otherwise it would have just been videos of me crying consistently throughout the airspaces. But I made it, I'm safe, and I will be at Spa starting with media day tomorrow.